Kristen with Nerdette's NewsStand, and I want to revisit a show we haven't talked about on this channel for quite some time. Now, I did review Watchmen in its entirety. I did kind of go back and forth with it. The first episode I hated. The second episode switched everything and I loved it. Then by like episode 5, I was mad again. Damon Lindelof has this way of pissing you off but keeping you tuned in. He has this way of upsetting you to the point where you want to watch more. I watched every single episode either on Sunday or Monday, and I absolutely, by the end of it, applauded it. Now, there is this narrative going around that Watchmen Season 2 has been canceled. Now, from the beginning, Damon Lindelof said that he wanted to make this a one-shot type show. So, he wanted it to be one season, tell his story, and that was it. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times when it comes to these shows, it's pretty much guaranteed that if the numbers are good, you're going to get a season 2. Well, if you're only doing it to tell a story, you don't need that season 2. If you've accomplished what you want to, you don't need a season 2. So, this whole narrative of it's being canceled, and I have even seen people saying, well, if you look from episode 1 to 2, it lost 200,000 views. Well, those were live viewers, so it went from like 1.9 million views to 1.7. Yes, that's a lot to lose in a week. Those were live views. I never ever once watched it live. So my numbers were never counted in that. People have DVR, and then also we have like the HBO app, which is what I use because I don't have cable television. I have no need for it. I'm not a big TV and movie person. So, looking into this, it's kind of a false narrative. Now, don't take my word for it. I don't want anyone to take my word for it because I am very biased to Watchmen in general. When it comes to the graphic novel, when I was growing up, it was one of my favorite things. That and A Death in the Family were my two favorite stories. I've read them multiple times. Doomsday Clock, absolutely fantastic. Before Watchmen, which I do want to review. And I recently reread them. So I wanted to review them, but with me doing a live show starting up in about a little bit over a month, I think that is better for a live setting. I think I am going to save it. It's 4 massive graphic novels. Now, was it the best thing ever? Like, I can't see Amanda Connor's art when it comes to a naked Silk Spectre. She just draws too cartoony for me. But if that's the worst of it, like, Darwin Cook was on. We had some fantastic names. Brian Azzarello, Libra Mayhew. There was some huge names within this. Now, did it dip sometimes? Like, I would say that Dr. Manhattan and Ozzy's stories dipped a little bit. You know what? I'm going off rails here. I don't want to talk about Before Watchmen because that's not what this story is about. This is about season 2 of Watchmen. You can literally look up, and not take my word for it, to the fact that Damon never wanted a season 2. So we are over here at Bounding Into Comics, and I didn't read this beforehand, so I apologize. But it says, HBO's Watchmen season 2 appears dead in the water, but it's not officially canned. What he means by that is, like I said, Damon said he wanted to tell a story. He did. Some of those things he told, I didn't honestly know about. I had to fact check. So, the first episode was kind of the most divisive, right? We had the story of Bass Reeves and the Lone Ranger, and then we had the story of the Tulsa Massacre. So before I did my video, long ago, when that episode came out, I fact checked those things because I had no idea that massacre actually occurred. I was like, why is he writing about this? Why am I seeing this random, like, dead baby? And, I was confused. This happened. And there's nothing wrong with knowing that. Now, some people don't want to be entertained in that fashion where they're, like, edutained. But I didn't know those things. So, for me to know about it is better. I would rather have us, as American citizens, know our history than to repeat it. And a lot of times, even now, we're seeing history rewritten right in front of us. The flow of information has changed on a daily basis because the landscape of the internet changes on a daily basis. And you can't go to WikiLeaks and expect that to be what, is good for our WikiLeaks, any sort of wiki, I mean, and expect that to be actual false or true information. So, with the landscape of history changing right in front of us all the time, I was glad to learn something new. Now, normally I do like to keep my politics out of my escapism. Watchmen has always been political. Quit playing like it hasn't. I did see some reviews long ago when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, and you can't trust Rotten Tomatoes, not as far as you can throw it. But the critic score is 96, and the score for the reviewers are normal people, whatever, is 54. So I did see people saying it's too political. Like, what? Did you read Watchmen? Did you know it was about nuclear war? And a giant, I'm confused on how something can be too political when it comes to Watchmen. I really am. If you read the before Watchmen, when it comes to the comedian, the whole entire thing is about the Vietnam War. So don't play like we are going to go with the political aspect when it comes to Watchmen. Yeah, is it a little annoying that I had to do a bit with white supremacy? Yeah, a little bit. But if you can disconnect enough, you can see that underneath there was a good story. But like I said in the beginning, don't take my word for it. I don't want people to feel in the comment sections that they can't disagree with me, because there are people that dislike this for very valid reasons, and I totally understand that. I just feel like saying that this show was canceled, and then on top of that going even further and saying that the show was canceled due to ratings and stuff like that is kind of a false narrative. At least if you're going to talk about this situation, try to be honest. If you don't like it, say you don't like it. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. So let's take a look at what Damon actually said to Rolling Stones, because I want to see where we're going, what direction we're heading. So he says, I do have a desire for there to be more Watchmen. Maybe these 9 episodes have demonstrated that the playing field is a little bit larger than we previously thought. I think so. And one thing, and I don't know if it's in this this article, so I want to talk about it, that I really respect about Damon is this was originally supposed to be 10 episodes. The man canned an entire episode because he felt like it was filler. Now, how many times have you read a comic book that felt just kind of like it was filler till the plot ended? So we had a lot of that, just way too much of that. When it came to Batman, Tom King's run, we saw them on the beach, and it was just like, oh God, just ended already. But he didn't want that. He didn't want anyone to feel like it was filler. So he canned an entire episode that had been shot, written, edited, to make it feel more wholesome, more to the story. I really respect that. I think that's good for your viewers, because you're showing them that you're trying to tell a story. You're not trying to continue a story that has been beaten to death. So it says, it may inspire someone else to tell a Watchmen story. But right now, I don't have any more ideas. Whether you call something a limited series or an ongoing series, that's the fodder for award consideration. I'm not comfortable calling this anything other than a 9 complete episode with a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there's no promise of a continuation. I have absolutely zero problem with that, because I do feel like if somebody else picks up this series, it's not going to be the same. Not that there aren't people talented out there that could tell a story. What I mean is, Damon Lindelof kind of has his own style, right? When Lost came out, I remember not even watching that show. I was very, very young. But, he got was it a dream or something like that? Like, people were blown out of the water when Lost episode or series finale came out. Damon Lindelof is like the M. Night Shyamalan when it comes to TV shows. He's able to make you uncomfortable, keep you on your seat, but keep you glued in all at the same time. So I feel like if somebody else picked it up, it wouldn't quite have that Damon Lindelof spin to it. Not only that, but I feel like people are looking at Damon Lindelof and being like, I don't like this series because he's extremely liberal, or because he likes Ta-Nehisi Coates or something like that. yeah, I get that those may have been part of his inspirations, and it's very obvious that within this show, those were and are inspirations. But you don't see people coming to me and being like, okay, well, I don't like her because she likes Alice Cooper, or I don't like her because she listens to metal music. No, it's just something I am. It's kind of a backdrop to the story of the person I am. If I am entertaining, which I very seriously doubt I am, I'm sorry. I really am. But if I am able to keep you glued in to a point where you can listen to me, then that's all that matters. It doesn't matter who I am or what I listen to or what kind of politics I have. No, I'm very, very open with that. But don't dislike a show simply because of that. Now, I do understand some people cannot separate art from artists. So I get it. Let me know what you guys think about season 2, or the lack thereof, rather. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Subscribe Star and Patreons. You guys literally make this channel possible. Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris C, Dave Ross, David L, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Sanjuro, Jeremy Burtz, Joe Bustify, Kato Round, Magical Exotic Diamonds, Mighty Pauls, Mike Buckner, Robert, Steve Glasker, Timothy French, Alice Matt Films, Alexander Trapp, Way Else One, and Troy Reiser. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like on the way out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.